That's a really good one. That's probably a Salix or a Vaccinium. So let me get all the full meal deal in here. Yeah, that's why I was so excited when we first started out. It's like, oh, it's like a salad. Don't usually see so much. So these leaves can be attacked by bacteria that, in the presence of iron and sulfur, will fix the iron onto a sulfate substrate and replace the organic matter with pyrite, which is fool's gold, iron sulfide. It's like someone made a jewelry for us. All the picture slices that we have. And there's the top, there's the depths right there. So the modern soil is developed in the upper part of the lake, and then you get some messing around with the lake deglaciation material, and then these are called rhythmically bedded silt and very fine sand. And I just had a chunk maybe about this big that yielded all those fossils that were under there.
From about which core, what section?
So this is PG5B, so this is the Getzman road core. So it's on a road heading towards Hampshire, in that area.
So what causes all these waves?
It could be individual storms.
Okay.
Kind of the way to think of it is, okay, you've got this lake that has a ring of permafrost,
Right.
and then every time it rains, we'll now look at this one, and every time it rains here, the water will be draining in the watershed and go into the basin. So it's like groundwater,
Okay.
but it's going through cracks in the ice. So there are cracks in the ice that act as a conduit, and so when the rain goes down and hits the underlying substrate of till, it'll erode it a little bit,
Okay.
and so kind of muddy water flows into it, and then at first it's sand
Okay.
because it's a higher energy environment right after the storm,
Right.
and then so the storm actually acts as a way to size fractionate the debris
Yeah.
that makes the till.
Sure.
Kind of what you did with the sieve there in the other room.
Yeah.
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 So, but when you say the fossils come from a certain depth, they come from the bottom of this core, or they come from some place?
Throughout.
Throughout.
So what I did was every 5 centimeters, I think it was. Let's see. Well, these are shoes. 584, 594. So 10 centimeter thick pieces. So from red to red, about that much core. Each of them yielded. So when I said I've got a bit of work to do,
Wow.
that's what I meant. It was, I didn't have a student do this. I did it myself.
So, kind of in a summary of those cores across the lakes, the north edge of Glacial Lake Pingree, which were the most productive cores?
Let's go to the map.
Okay.
Easiest thing to do. Approximate location of where the pyrotized, I think it was the pyrotized, well, I think, no, they were there, but this was really rich too. And then the leach, that was rich as well. So rich. And then those were the only ones we sampled. So they were always, no matter where you went, you scored big.
Yeah, yeah.
Where we did not score as big as when we went for the lower level ones.
Oh, okay.
And basically it was just that the fossil zone was only about this thick, as opposed to 30 feet.
Yeah.
And the whole thing wasn't full of fossils. There were definite zones where.
How do you know what zones to pick? Can you tell?
Well, in the case of the moss, you could tell they were kind of sticking out of the core. They were, yeah. Sometimes the abbondanza is obvious.
Mm.
Abbondanza meaning it's Italian food with lots of food.
If you were to guess at the kind of creatures that were around at this time that would leave a deposit like that, you're thinking perhaps a lemming or?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, the thing about this is that you can get an idea that it was a small butt that made that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a butthole that was less than a centimeter big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this tooth is really cool. Let's see if it goes to the next one. Yeah, there it does. So that's the bottom side. I have no idea what critter made that. Oftentimes they're frogs or snakes. So that's higher up in the section where there's lots of sand. So at the site, of course, there's a Tyler Creek that goes across, and there's alluvium in the upper 10 feet or so. So this is when the lake turned into an area that got flooded. The other thing that there's lots of is this. So there are the different pictures, and I put it together to make this. So that's a stitched together picture. My camera cannot take in that much. But look how long that thing is. I've never seen that before in any ice wall lake deposit. And my best guess is that is something called spike moss. Which is I'm just guessing from the spikes. It's another tundra plant. So yet another treasure from this core.
Tyler Creek and Big Timber Road.
So this is what's called equality clay. It's from backwater. So we found it down along like the Mississippi River where it used to flow. But it's a real soft, greasy. And so when you feel it, it smears. It doesn't do anything else.
So that would be like bottom type material?
So now we're zooming in, and there's the leach. And then that was the where the Getzman and Wedding Farm Ice Wall Lake Plain was. And then this, I believe, is the other one that we mapped.
The Powers Road, or the one that's up by
Powers Road is this one, which is so you can see it's higher in elevation. So it probably filled up with sediment faster, and that's why there's no fossils.
Oh.
But if we zoom in to hear more. Okay, now you can see there's just lake plains all over the freaking place.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like leaves on the ground.
Right, it does.
So there's Tyler Creek, and then that's where those borings came from, and then where whatever that McDonald was, that's not the name of
Yeah,
it.
McCormick.
That's up here. I don't have the color ramp, but I guess you can get a sense that white is high, red is intermediate, green and blue are lowest. The melting glacier, basically. So if we zoom into here to just the leach, it's not as, thanks to this, it's not as cool as you might think. So if we pull off, you might see more and more of it. I'm trying to get rid of the blue.
Right.
It's still not, it almost looks better regional, but you can get a sense of, there's the edge of it, like that.
And Burnage Forest Preserve is like off here somewhere, isn't it?
And if we take off the topographic map, you can see how it shows up on LiDAR.
So this area of the leach is farm. There's a subdivision here, and it's farm, and then you've got it must drop down along this, because this ravine that the railroad is in that goes across here. So this must still be quite a ridge here, because it's higher. If you're in the subdivision, you're looking uphill still from the roads in the subdivision toward that area.
Well, there, you can see the contour lines. They're 5 foot, I think. I'd have to look carefully and see where they've got things marked. There's 880, so they're 10-foot contours. So from this tippy top here, 10, 20, 30, and then you're on the road, so 30 feet of relief.
My parents lived in McQueen's. The farm there.
Oh, they did.
I'm not 100% sure, but my dad walked that railroad track to school every day. I heard about that many times. Well, on my day.
Where did you go to school?
One school.
One-room schoolhouse somewhere.
Pingree Grove, maybe.
Probably,
Not
yeah.
that far. It gets cut by, or truncated by the Marengo Moraine here. So my theory was that if that history is true, that first you have the ice forming this moraine, and presumably it went across the landscape like this, and then later on this moraine comes and then gets truncated by, or this moraine gets truncated by this one. This one has to be younger than this one by cross-cutting relationships. So maybe the ice wall lake plains on this side of the moraine would be older than the ones on this side of the moraine.
Oh.
Okay, so let's look at how that worked out. Tell me who you are. 85209. That is Wedding Farm.
Okay.
So what is this then? Maybe that's Mr. Peanut. That's okay. This is everything. Oh, this
from your
includes
previous.
from previous work.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is even further. Okay. So this is the deal. This is the Wedding Farm, and that's Getzman, and then that's Mr. Peanut. So this is the cluster of dates that I was hoping would be older than the ones on this side, and these were kind of going all over the place. So they need some explanation. But before I go into that, that is from the kettle on top of the Hampshire, or
Yep.
the Marengo Moraine.
Marengo Moraine in Hampshire Forest Preserve.
So it's too young. It's not telling us. It wasn't deposited in the same era as these guys. It's not Lake Glacial. It's almost Holocene, or
Current.
yeah. So this is from, which one is that? This is the 2C, I believe. Yeah, ranking big timber. That's what these guys are. 845, 845. So the highest fossil zone and the lowest fossil zone. If you look at this carefully, the older date, the 23,000 year date, this one here is higher up in the section. And then this is lower in the section. And you can see that the dates are pretty much exactly like the ones on the other side. So this one is what we like to call a dinger. This has some older carbon in it that I didn't catch. And so it ruined the date, basically. So it'd be cool to go back and do more dates of that.
Which one?
2C, the ranking big
Okay.
timber. And there are a lot of fossils to choose from. In fact, we can do that, and I can then find it. We can look at it. And then this is, I wonder why they're so different. The one is going to be Big Timber over Tyler. They both are, so why is that? They're not the same date, are they? Oh, I see. One's really old. That's what happened with that one. So Big Timber is one of them. And that is not that one. It's this one, I believe. No, you know what that one is? That's Jack Cook.
Oh, okay.
So it's along this transect, the things were like here in the transect. And Jack Cook is way down, not way down, but it's further down. And then the way this is placed higher up, it just gets you all confused. But this is supposed to be an east-west transect. So this is that late stage lake. So you can see these are all the dates associated with the high-level ice wall lake plains. And something happens, the ice melts, and in the lower elevation you get this younger date. So you can see the chunk of time that's involved is looks like 1,000, 1,500 years. So in 1,500 years, the permafrost melted in that area.
On both sides of the moraine?
Well, we only have evidence for this. This is only showing evidence for the east side. So this is Jack Cook, but I do have a date from the Hampshire Quad that is about that. It's the same story basically. On the other side.
So what dates are we talking about now? I mean, we're talking, Jack Cook was...
About 16,200. And, we can get the exact date by doing that. 16,280.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was that one sample full of driest leaves that we looked at. So it's still cold as hell. And then this is what, 30, 88, 39. 88, 39 is Big Timber over Tyler Creek.
And that is
20,000. 20,120. And so is this date shockingly younger or older than this cluster? Or from this? Yeah, it's pretty much 21 or 20. And they're all the same. The suggestion is that we can't use ice wall lake plains to decipher the deglacial history in the way that I would like to. So here we had the Marengo Moraine, cross-cutting, here's the Bloomington. Now, you didn't see it very well you didn't see it at all, really, in the images that we're looking at, but it just runs into the Marengo Moraine. So this one's got to be younger. Now, there's a place where there's the West Chicago Moraine and it crosses over, and there's some ice wall lakes that are 20.6. So that's crossing the Marengo Moraine, so it's got to be older than that. So Marengo is greater than 20.6, and then these things, it's got to be younger than that.
Yeah,
So whatever dates that we come up with this,
so the Getselman is above the Bloomington Moraine there.
yeah, it's on the Bloomington, it's not on the Marengo Moraine.
No, but is it up here, north, south?
No, it's in this. It'd be
It's right in there. Okay, gotcha.
So / wedding farm, and then Hampshire Forest Preserve. That's that date. And then over here off the Moraine,
The youngest date that we've got.
we've got 2C, we'll call it, and that is Rhine King over Big Timber. And then further over, Leech. And then down here, Jack Cook. And I would imagine that if we could get dates from the Pingree Grove cores, they would come out like Jack Cook.
Jack Cook, yeah.
Yeah. And that's that date. So all the things I've circled in heavily